The biggest mistake in SEO right now is treating Google like it is still only a list of links. For years, the goal was clear: write the article, match the keyword, optimize the title. Build authority, climb the rankings, get the click. That workflow is not gone, but it is no longer the full game. Google search is becoming more than a place where people type a keyword and choose from a list of results. It is becoming an answer layer, a research assistant, and in some cases, a place where users can keep exploring a topic before they ever open a website. So no, SEO is not dead. But the easy version of SEO is under pressure. The question is no longer just, can my page rank? The better question is, can my content become useful enough, clear enough, and trusted enough that AI systems may use it when they answer the user? That is where the SEO workflow starts to change. For creators, bloggers, marketers, SEO professionals, freelancers, and online business owners, this matters because discovery itself is changing. People are not always searching with short keywords anymore. They may ask longer questions. They may compare options. They may ask for a plan. They may ask follow-up questions. They may want a useful summary before deciding which link is worth their time. Google has described AI overviews and AI mode as generative AI features inside search that help users ask more complex questions, get snapshots of information, explore links, and continue with follow-up questions. Google has also described newer AI search experiences as moving toward more agent-like behavior, where search does not only find pages, but helps users research, compare, and move through a task. That creates a new kind of pressure. Because if the answer appears before the click, creators and businesses have to think differently about what visibility really means. In the old SEO workflow, things were more predictable. A person had a question. They typed a keyword into Google. Google showed search results. The person clicked a link. The website got traffic. The job of SEO was to get as close to the top of that results page as possible. So the process became keyword first. Find the keyword. Check search volume. Check difficulty. Study competing pages. Write the article. Add the title tag. Organize the headings. Add internal links. Build authority. Improve the technical foundation. Then wait. And to be clear, those fundamentals still matter. Google's guidance around AI search does not point to a secret new trick. It still comes back to helpful, reliable, people-first content, accessible pages, and content that Google can understand. There is no special magic tag that guarantees a page will appear inside AI overviews or AI mode. The important part is that the foundations may stay the same while user behavior changes around them. A page may still rank, but if AI summarizes the topic before the click, your content may also be competing to become part of the answer. That is a different problem from traditional keyword optimization. A traditional article might target best email marketing software, but a user in an AI search experience may ask something more specific, like, I run a small e-commerce store, I need abandoned cart emails, I have a limited budget, and I do not want a complicated automation setup. That is not just a keyword, that is a decision. AI search is built for these more complex situations. It can summarize, compare, organize, and help the user keep exploring. So the content workflow has to move from keyword matching to decision support. This is what many people miss. The goal is not to beat the AI, and it is not to write awkward pages that sound like they were made for machines instead of humans. The goal is to create content that is easier for both people and AI systems to understand, verify, compare, and trust. A thin article that repeats generic definitions may still be indexed. It may even look optimized on the surface. But it may not be the strongest source for an AI-assisted answer. A stronger page gives the system and the reader something specific to work with. It answers the question clearly. It explains who the answer is for. It includes trade-offs. It separates facts from opinion. It gives examples. It uses clear structure. It shows real experience where possible. It feels like it was built to solve a real problem, not just capture a keyword. That is the shift. The first step is no longer only keyword research. The first step is understanding the user's actual task. What is the person trying to decide? Are they comparing tools? Trying to fix a problem, looking for a beginner explanation, researching before buying, trying to avoid a mistake, trying to build a workflow. Once you understand the task, the content becomes easier to shape. You need a clear answer near the top. You need sections that match the real decision process. You need comparisons where comparison matters. You need limitations where people could misunderstand. You need proof when you make factual claims. You need examples that are specific enough to be useful. The real value is not the tool itself. It is the system behind the content. AI can help with that system. It can help you research faster. It can cluster questions. It can summarize competing pages. It can turn messy notes into a clearer content plan, but it cannot decide your strategy for you. That still requires human judgment. Take an old blog post as an example. In the old workflow, updating it might be simple. You find a post that lost traffic. You add more keywords. You refresh the date. You add a few sections. Maybe you build more links. In the AI era workflow, you ask a harder question. If an AI system summarized this topic, what part of this article would actually be worth using? If the honest answer is nothing unique, then adding more words probably will not fix the real problem. The fix is to make the page more useful. Add a short, clear answer near the beginning. Add a section that explains who the advice is for. Add a comparison. Add real examples. Add a section about what not to do. Add sources where claims need support. Remove filler. Make the structure easier to scan. The realistic benefit is not guaranteed traffic. No one can honestly promise that. The realistic benefit is that the page becomes a stronger asset. It becomes easier for readers to understand, easier for search systems to interpret, and more useful in a world where I may summarize information before sending the user anywhere. But manual checking still matters. AI can make weak content sound polished. It can help with structure, but it cannot magically create real experience. It can suggest examples, but those examples may be generic. It can summarize sources, but summaries can miss context. That is why the workflow should be AI-assisted, not AI-decided. Another practical use case is AI SEO research. The old process usually started with keyword tools. You looked at volume, difficulty, related keywords, and competitor pages. That still has value. But the new workflow can start with questions. What are users asking before they buy? What are they asking before they trust a brand? What are they asking when they compare two tools? What are they worried about? What do they misunderstand? A marketer can use Google to understand the current search environment, including AI overviews when they appear, and the traditional search results around them. They can use Perplexity for source discovery and quick comparison. They can use ChatGPT or Claude to organize user questions into clusters. Then they can manually decide which questions actually matter for the business. That last step is where the human work becomes essential. AI can generate hundreds of questions that sound useful. Many of them may not have business value. Some may be too obvious. Some may be too broad. Some may not reflect what real customers care about. So AI can speed up the research, but it should not choose the strategy alone. For YouTube creators, this shift matters even if they do not run a blog. iSearch changes how research works. The old creator workflow was often competitor first. Find a topic. Watch top videos, copy the structure, add a slightly different title. A better workflow is gap first. Use Google and iSearch to see how the topic is being explained. Use Perplexity to find sources. Use ChatGPT or Claude to organize the research. Then ask better questions. What is missing? What is too generic? What would a beginner misunderstand? What would an advanced viewer still find useful? That creates stronger content because you are not just copying the surface of what already exists. You are building a clearer explanation. E-commerce has the same problem from a different angle. The old product SEO workflow focused on product titles, category keywords, product descriptions, reviews, and technical optimization. Those things still matter. But AI-assisted discovery adds pressure to make product pages more useful for comparison. A buyer may not search only for a product category. They may ask which product fits a specific use case, a specific budget, a specific space, a specific skill level, or a specific problem. If your product page only lists features, it may not explain where the product actually fits. A better product page answers buyer questions. It explains use cases. It shows trade-offs. It gives clear specifications. It explains who the product is not for. It helps the buyer compare without exaggeration. That is not just SEO copy. That is decision support. Freelancers and consultants can also turn this shift into a practical service. A freelance SEO consultant could offer an AI search visibility audit, not as a guaranteed ranking service, not as a fake promise to force a brand into AI answers, but as a serious snapshot. How does the brand appear in Google AI features when they are available? How does it appear in Perplexity? What does ChatGPT or Gemini say when asked buyer intent questions? Which competitors appear? Which claims are wrong? Which sources are being used? Which content gaps are obvious? The output is not a magic ranking report. It is a clearer content roadmap. That is useful because businesses are starting to care not only where they rank, but how AI systems describe them when buyers ask questions. Now, Google, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and Perplexity should not be treated as the same tool. They fit different parts of the workflow. Google is still central for understanding live search behavior and the public search environment. AI overviews and AI mode show how Google is changing the way users discover and explore information. Perplexity can be useful for research-style queries because it emphasizes answers with sources and can help with fast source discovery. ChatGPT and Claude often work more like thinking and production workspaces. They can help organize research, create outlines, compare ideas, and turn messy notes into useful briefs. Gemini matters because it connects to Google's broader AI direction and ecosystem, but there is no reason to force a winner. The smarter workflow is to use each tool for the right job. Use Google to understand the search environment. Use Perplexity to discover sources and compare information quickly. Use ChatGPT or Claude to structure the thinking. Use your own judgment to decide what deserves to be published. That is the reality check. A is faster at research, clustering, summarizing, and first drafts. But humans are still better at strategy, taste, positioning, trust, and deciding what matters. And that brings us to the risks. The first risk is blind trust. AI search can be useful, but it can still misunderstand a question, summarize poorly, miss context, or sound more confident than it should. If you are making business decisions, you still need to check original sources. Look at dates. Look at where the claim came from. Look for conflicts. Look for missing context. The second risk is generic content. Many people will respond to AI search by publishing more AI-written articles. That may only make the problem worse. If every page says the same thing, none of them stands out. The opportunity is not to publish more average content. The opportunity is to publish clearer, more specific, more trusted content. The third risk is over-optimization. Some people will try to write for AI systems instead of humans. They will stuff pages with repetitive questions, unnatural answer blocks, and fake authority. That can damage the content. The end user is still a person. If the person clicks and the page feels shallow, confusing, or untrustworthy, the workflow failed. The fourth risk is privacy. When using AI tools for SEO research, do not paste private client data, unpublished strategies, customer lists, analytics exports, or confidential business information into tools without understanding the settings and data policies. Automation makes it easy to move fast, sometimes too fast. The fifth risk is poor workflow design. AI should not be the final decision maker for your SEO strategy. It can help with research, structure, summarization, and ideation. But the final judgment needs to come from someone who understands the audience, the business, and the consequences of publishing bad information. So the real lesson is simple. SEO is not dead. But weak SEO is being exposed. If the strategy was only keyword matching, copying competitors, and publishing thin content, AI search makes that weaker. If the strategy is understanding the user, answering better, building trust, and creating assets that help people make decisions, AI search makes that more important. The future of SEO is not only rankings. It is visibility inside AI-assisted decisions. For creators, that means researching what AI summaries miss and making better explanations. For marketers, it means building content around real buyer questions. For bloggers, it means adding original value instead of repeating generic answers. For freelancers, it means offering honest audits instead of fake guarantees. For business owners, it means checking how their brand appears when AI systems answer questions in their market. Here is the practical action. Take one important page on your website. Search the topic the way a real buyer, reader, or viewer would ask it now. Not just as a keyword, but as a full question. Look at the AI answer if one appears. Look at the traditional results. Look at the sources. Look at the competitors. Look at what is missing. Then ask one question. Would my page genuinely help answer this better? If the answer is no, do not just add more words. Add clarity, add proof, add comparison, add experience, add structure, add usefulness. That is the new SEO workflow. Not tricking the algorithm, not chasing hype, but becoming the source that both people and AI systems can understand, trust, and use.